All right, cool. Just got our recording started here. So I wanted to just welcome everyone to our second annual Iowa PGA college golf webinar. This is kind of an event that Tess started last year, and we thought was awesome last year, and we wanted to keep going, as well as invite a few more coaches that maybe didn't get a chance to pop on last year. But before we get started, I just wanted to restate some of the ground rules that I had sent out in the emails earlier. First, for our attendees, if you could please keep your video off and your microphone on mute. That would be awesome for our flow. If you do happen to have any questions that pop up, feel free to post them in the chat. Tess and Blake will do their best to answer them. And if we have any time, we'll kind of swing back to them towards the end of the meeting here. And then coaches, like I had stated earlier, if you could please keep your camera on, stay on mute. And then if you wish to give any feedback or input into any of our topics that we cover today, go ahead and raise your hand on Google Meets, and we'll do our best to kind of call on you as we get to you. So we'll first kind of kick things off by allowing the coaches to introduce themselves and their programs. I kind of have it broken down into divisions / we have Joe Canny and Kate Drimmel here as kind of our special guests today. So I'll let them lead off. I don't know if either Joe or Kate, if one of you wants to go first, just kind of give us what you're about, and then give that fun fact that I hinted in that email yesterday.
I'll lead us off. First of all, Jacob, thank you so much for having us here today. It's always great representing the Midwest. For everyone here, my name is Kate Drimmel. I serve as a recruiting specialist for the PGA of America. So I'm actually not dealing with this crazy snowstorm that you're getting right now. I'm out in Dallas, Texas, near our new home of the PGA out in Frisco, Texas. But my job is really to grow awareness about the opportunities within golf, whether that's playing collegiately or afterwards as a PGA member, and helping you along your journey. So I'll keep it brief, but my short fun fact, I would say, is I love to travel, which is pretty convenient since Joe and myself, I was on the road probably 125 days last year for my job itself. So like trying new things and any sort of new food, that's kind of my deal whenever I'm out and about. So happy to be here.
And then I kind of team up with Kate quite a bit. The name is Joe Canny. I am the PGA professional in residence at the University of Nebraska. And we're one of 17 universities in the country where you can get your bachelor's degree and your PGA membership at the same time. So students come and they get a great Big Ten degree from the University of Nebraska. So I know where I'm sitting. I apologize. I see a lot of Hawkeye shirts out there. But you get your degree from the University of Nebraska, your PGA membership, and then we compete at the PGM level. So our students compete against the other 16 university programs.
Perfect. Thank you, Kate and Joe, for your quick introductions. We'll move on to our Division I level coaches. So Coach Bermel, if you want to take it away, just kind of state what school you're at, your division, maybe conference, and then what you'd like to do outside of coaching.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jacob. Welcome, everybody. John Bermel. I've been coaching the University of Northern Iowa for 28 years, and that's on the men's side. On the women's side, it's been 21 years. We're Division I. We play in the Missouri Valley Conference. Missouri Valley Conference has 12 teams in it now, so it's quite a bit different for us because in the past we've had 9 or 10 competing, and so with 12 is quite a few more. I mean, it's not that many more, but it seems like a lot more. I don't know. I guess my fun fact is I like to play golf, and I don't do it near enough, so I do enjoy playing.
Thanks, John. Get to see you at quite a few occasions. That's nice. Coach Tank, if you want to go next, you're free to speak.
Yeah, I'm the women's head coach at Mount Mercer University. We're NAIA I just took over this past January as head coach. I was the assistant coach for the women's team before that. My fun fact is I also like to travel. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, so I've gotten the privilege to travel kind of all over the world. And as I'm out of the Marine Corps now, I like to continue to do that.
Cool. Coach Tank from Iowa State, if you want to go next.
Sure, Andrew Tank. I'm the men's golf coach here at Iowa State University, Big 12 Conference. And outside of coaching, big college football fan, as well as probably hobby-wise, just taking care of my yard, actually, big lawn care guy. So like to take care of my grass and spend some time outside.
Love that. Tyler, if you want to take it away next.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm Tyler Stith. I'm the men's golf coach at the University of Iowa. Native Iowan. I was born in Mount Pleasant. Went to the University of Iowa. Graduated in 2002. We're members of the Big Ten Conference. Outside of coaching golf and spending time with my family, I enjoy being outside, fishing, running, working out, all that sort of stuff, and playing golf. I mean, I've played golf my whole life, so just being outside, that's what's most enjoyable for me.
Awesome. Thank you. Leah, if you want to go next. I think you're on mute there, Leah. Yeah, we're good now.
Okay. Hi.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm Coach Leah from Western Illinois University. We are Division I mid-major. We're in the Summit League. I've been coaching women's golf for 17 years and men's golf for 5. I didn't really read the email close enough about the fun fact. How about I played my collegiate golf at Illinois and couldn't win that state am, so we moved to Iowa and I could win that one. So maybe that's my fun fact. Anyway, other hobbies would be my dog who just hopped up here, and I've got a 15-year-old playing travel volleyball for Iowa Rockets. So we do a lot of that.
Awesome. Thank you, Leah. Coach Smith, I think you're rounding out our Division I programs here. So if you want to take it away.
Steve Smith, Drake University, women's coach. I've been here for 1 year and 1 day. My first trip with the girls was 3 days after I met them. So it was pretty interesting way to get started. And we're in the Missouri Valley.
Oh, I think we're losing you. I think it hopped on mute there quickly towards the back half.
Yeah. I spent most of my time in high school. I taught and coached 33 years there. Fun fact: there's going to be 2 things in my truck always: my golf clubs, one, and my fishing tackle. If I'm lucky enough, I'll be in a boat somewhere floating around, or could be in the golf cart with me, and I might be fishing on the golf course somewhere. If they'll let me.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll move on to Division II. Mike, you're our only Division II coach in our section, so take it away. Oh, I think we might have just lost him. Oh, you hear me, Mike?
I'm here. Yeah, you're right. Only Division II school in the state of Iowa, Upper Iowa University. Been with Upper Iowa for 12 years. I played for Coach Bermel at UNI, and I competed against a few other coaches in the room, and we compete on the recruiting trail too. So it's good to see everybody. We're in the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. We're actually transitioning to a different conference in the fall called the Great Lakes Valley Conference, a little bit more south, hopefully a little warmer weather. Anyway, fun fact, I actually like shoveling snow. So good night for that tonight.
Definitely. We'll move on to our Division III schools. Tabitha, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Schumacher. I am the women's golf coach at Central College, and I'm in my 3rd year here at Central. And if I'm not hanging out with my family, I have a 4-month-old daughter, Stella Rose. She was actually born the first day of our conference championship. So she came 3 weeks early and missed conference, but it was a great week. We ended up winning conference, even though I couldn't be there. It was really great. Men's coach Blasi took over. And if I'm not doing that, I'm either watching sports or listening to audiobooks.
Awesome. That would have been a very fun week. Speaking of Mel, is Mel here? I didn't see him pop in. I don't know if he ended up on the call. If not, Coach Powell, if you want to come on in, the floor is yours.
Sure. Everyone, my name is Joe Powell, men's and women's golf coach at Buena Vista University in the American Rivers Conference with Coach Schumacher. Coach Thompson, I believe, is on the call tonight as well. Coach Blasi. Division III is probably the most well-known within the state. 8 of the 9 schools in our conference fall within the state of Iowa. So very strong showing for Division III. Something about myself, much like a lot of the other coaches, I love spending time outside, whether that be golfing, hunting, fishing. Been doing it my entire life. So going to continue to do that as long as I can.
Cool. A quick little segue to Coach Thompson. As Coach Powell brought you up, floor is yours.
Hi, my name is John Thompson. I'm the head women's golf coach at Wartburg College in Waverly, Iowa. We are also in the American Rivers Conference. This is my 2nd season at Wartburg College. I also played for Coach Bermel a couple of years back at University of Northern Iowa. And when I'm not working or coaching, I'm playing golf, I'm traveling and watching football.
Awesome. Move into our community college coach on the call. Coach Seaboch, floor is yours.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Chris Seaboch and I coach at Des Moines Area Community College. We compete at the junior college level, so 2-year school, and we compete in the Iowa Community College Athletic Association. So that's made up of all the Iowa community colleges, plus it includes a couple schools in Nebraska as well. So in golf, in the men's side, there's about 12 teams, and women's golf, there's 9 teams in that conference. So Iowa's a big portion of it, obviously. Men compete at the Division II level, and women compete at the Division I level in the national tournament. And I'd say about half of our players to a little over half go on to play somewhere after their time at DMACC. So we've sent players to a lot of coaches on this call right now, as well as all other places. In fact, I think we're getting ready to send a girl to Augusta College, and she's going to get to go play Augusta National for her collegiate career. So pretty fun for her to do. For fun, I do a couple things. I'm a PGA professional, as I said, so I do a lot of lessons. In the summertime, I do some consulting for high school kids on the collegiate process. And then we've got 3 golden retrievers. So besides cleaning up dog hair at my house, we go do a lot of hikes and take the dogs swimming, stuff like that in the summertime. So that's good.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. Doug, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. Doug North. I'm the golf coach and assistant athletic director at Southwestern Community College down in Creston. Pretty much a copy and paste of what Coach Seaboch said. Spent a lot of time in Iowa. Get to see a lot of you guys play. Travel all over the Midwest. Really fun fact, not fun, I guess everybody knows. I have 3 kids. They kind of dominate my life, kind of getting into youth sports and stuff like that. So life's about to get real hectic. So 3 kids and a Great Pyrenees dog. So they keep me busy when I'm not at work.
Perfect. Coach North. I think rounds out our coach introductions as well as Joe and Kate. So we'll just kind of move into some topics that I had prepared, as well as some that the kids had submitted to me throughout our last couple weeks. We'll start kind of mainly focusing towards outside of playing first, and then we'll kind of work towards playing. So first question would be mainly towards Joe and Kate here. It'd be, what are some of the other avenues that golf has outside of playing varsity collegiate golf? And what are some other things that maybe the PGA of America can provide? I know we have some other PGA professionals on the call as well. So it'd be awesome if you guys could just hit on that quickly.
I think to start off, it's pretty surprising, but there's over 2 million jobs within golf. So no matter what major you decide to pursue in college, there's pretty much any job that's available to you. So, I mean, for everyone on this call, our day-to-day jobs are working in golf. So it's really cool to be able to turn your passion into your workforce. So I would say, for a lot of these individuals, like myself, I played college golf at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, and those competitive years of playing are amazing. But as a PGA member, you can continue playing throughout your entire life. So Coach Seaboch, I'm sure you play in all your section events. You're able to have camaraderie with your other PGA professionals within Iowa. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. It's just a matter of kind of getting to know what avenues work best for you. And that's kind of what my job is, to help you navigate that.
Yeah, and then for our students, at the University of Nebraska, as you're getting your PGA membership, you can kind of focus on any area you want to. We actually have a young man from Iowa who is doing mechanical engineering with his PGA membership, so he can go work for Titleist or Cleveland Strixon or Ping. We have other students who are doing pre-mix. They want to do golf physical therapy, business because they want to be green grass PGA professionals or work at the National Association. I actually went through the program back in 2004, and I did marketing, which is why I've been in consumer marketing, worked for the PGA for 12 years. So our students are doing anything and everything. In fact, one that just graduated about 2 years ago bought the rights to do Top Golfs in China. Now he owns all the Top Golfs in China. So it's all over the map. I bored Jacob to sleep, I think.
No. I'll give a little plug as I took the non-traditional route to get where I am. I went to school at the University of Iowa, and I played on the club golf team, which is now under the PGA umbrella, and they own and operate that. It's always another option outside of playing varsity golf if you want to continue to play in a little less competitive manner, but still enjoy the camaraderie. So thank you, Joe and Kate. We'll move on kind of to our second topic. It's pretty broad, but when should players kind of start to begin their recruiting process? I know this could be very different for the different levels of play that we have on the call, so it'd be awesome to get a few different perspectives in that.
Well,
go ahead, Coach Bermel, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I think that question came up the last time, and I'm a firm believer that it's never too soon to start sending your name out there and letting people know about you, and it's never too late. I think the hard part is trying to figure out what's too soon and what's not too soon. And I'll be honest with you, it seems to me, and this is kind of a general statement, but it seems to me that the kids in Iowa are a little bit too late when they start sending information out. And like I said, it's never too late, but a lot of times they're not on the radar by the time it's time to go to college. And the thing about the Division I coaches a little bit is that we can't call kids that are not start I guess the 1st of July before their junior year. We can't call them back before then. So if the kids decide that they want to call a coach, which they can, it doesn't do any good to leave a message because in Division I, we can't call you back. But it's always good to get on the coach's radar and let the coaches know that you're interested in their school, or you want to find out more about their program, or so forth and so on.
Awesome. Coach Lewis, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'll echo a little bit of what Coach Bermel said. Division I and Division II are a lot alike in regards to the timeline of coaches talking to players. It's never too early, in my opinion. It's also never too late. I was late in the process as a student athlete, high school student, and we're always looking for those late people too. So if you think you're too late, you're not. Keep on trying. If a coach isn't calling you back, and you really want to go to that school, then you maybe need to take a visit and nail them down, at a visit, things like that. But there's a lot of moving parts in recruiting, roster limits, scholarship limits, things like that. And sometimes, rosters might be full, things like that. But don't stop trying, just like you try every day in your golf game and in your academics. Just keep on going.
Go ahead, Tabitha. Jacob, I think you're on mute.
Okay. I think D3s, we don't have the restrictions to reach out, but I think it's a little bit different. Our classes take a little bit longer to decide. So we're working on, like, for instance, 2023 classes. I'd say a lot of the D1 and D2 coaches are probably finishing up with 2023s, where we're still, like, I think a lot of us probably have some decisions, but we're still waiting on some. So I would say junior year for D3 is a really big year. But you guys are, just the fact that you're on this call, you've played in Iowa Junior PGA events, is really, really big. I think that's a really big first step. Anytime a coach goes and looks up scores in Iowa and looks up a name, we can see those scores. And that's a good way to get, like, for coaches to reach out to players as well. And I think at the D3 level, we do probably more reaching out than players reach out to us. That's just because we don't have athletic scholarships. But I would say, yeah, keep playing in those tournaments and reaching out to coaches, getting your name out there. But I would say for D3, junior year is a pretty big one.
Joe, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Tabitha was saying. Very much aligned with her. And as far as junior year is a big one for prospective student athletes, simply because that's when January of their junior year we can start having them on campus as far as official visits. And that gives them a little bit more time just as far as getting in touch with the coach or professors on campus, seeing what the campus is like, especially for those in Iowa 4A, whether that be men's or obviously 1, 2, 3A and ladies in the spring. Hopefully that gives them a little bit more time to understand what they're kind of diving into, obviously with the different variation of divisions within the state.
Awesome. Coach North?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to say it's never too early, but also be proactive in your recruiting process, right? Like, just because you made state or, won a tournament, we might not all get notifications of that. We might not all run across that. So, fill out recruit me forms, send emails, call. Social media is crazy. You can connect with just about anybody in the world right now. So be proactive in that and reach out. I'm half blind. I feel like half the time I miss a lot of great kids in Iowa. So be proactive with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for Coach Stith, if you want to chime in here.
Yeah, I'll take the question in a slightly different direction, because I think the coaches did a great job of kind of nailing down the timeline for when kids should reach out to coaches. And that's my first comment is I would say that make sure that communication is originating from your son or daughter. I personally don't like receiving emails from parents, because that doesn't necessarily tell me that son or daughter is really interested about playing college golf, that maybe mom and dad want it a little bit more than they do. So don't send it from your email account. I want to hear from your son or daughter. Have them send the email to me. Things that I'm looking for in that initial contact is a list of results. So kind of what you've done up to this point in your career, your upcoming tournament schedule. That way, if you're someone that I think I need to put on my radar, I want to know when and where I can watch you. If I can't get out and watch you play, I want to know kind of where you're going to be, so that I can put that on my calendar, so that I can continue to kind of track your results. And then, some coaches like to see a swing video. It's not the end all or be all for me personally, but I know not everyone on this call has, the same opportunities to travel and spend time on the road as I do. So swing video kind of goes a long way, just to at least help, that coach kind of understand maybe what some of your strengths and weaknesses and kind of where your game's at. So those would be the main things that I would try to include in that first contact email. And just, again, make sure that it comes directly from your son or daughter.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach Stith. That kind of gives me a little bit of a segue into my next topic that I actually wanted to bring up. What are the avenues that noticed? What are some like recruiting software, such as like comment on that?
Jacob, you cut out. What was the question again?
Oh, sorry about that. What are some of the avenues and best ways that kids can get noticed? Are there like any recruiting softwares that you guys look towards, like NCSA? Do you guys look at social medias like Twitter or anything, or do you guys prefer emails for communication? Just what are some of the best ways that kids can get noticed by you? John, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, at Wartburg, we've really used Front Rush, and I've found that that's been a great way to kind of find a lot of student athletes out there. And, we can get all your information. It's an easy way for us to connect with you. So that's what we use at Wartburg. There's a lot of different ones, but I would suggest signing up for something like that where coaches can see you.
Awesome. Mike, if you want to take it away, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I would say social media. Coach North over there at Southwest, he's a huge Twitter guy. Go follow him. He's got some good stuff on there. But if I'm looking at a recruit, social media is where I'm going to see what those pages look like. And if your page doesn't have much golf on it, then I'm not sure you're that interested in playing golf. So, social media will tell you a lot, the good and the bad. So, if there's some bad stuff on there, clean it up, to get rid of it. It's really easy to put stuff on there that you may think's trendy, but not that trendy to coaches. So, clean those up. But social media is first place I start.
Awesome. Coach Seaboch?
Yeah, a couple things that I look at. I look at Varsity Bound a lot, quite honestly. So I'm looking at high school scores. I start following kids freshman or sophomore year, and that's not anything that maybe you have control over as a player always, but you want to make sure your school's getting scores entered into there. So talk to your high school coach about entering scores there if they're not, because I think it's a great avenue. We've only, in the history of our our program, it's about 18 years. We've only had one player on the men's side outside of the state of Iowa. One player. So we recruit Iowa really heavy. We've only had 2 women outside of the state of Iowa in 17 years. So Varsity Bound's probably my number one go-to as far as looking at scores and things like that. I also look at Iowa PGA stuff. So I look at the junior golf stuff in the summertime. I'm a big user of that website as well. And then I would say there's recruiting websites out there. I'm not a huge believer in them, in you spending a lot of money on them. I know there are ones out there that cost a lot, and I don't know that they're worth it necessarily. I would say we use, I go to the NCSA website, but solely just for contact info. That's really the only thing I use it for, because I don't know, 20 years ago, I used to be able to find people's addresses and stuff like that, but it's harder to find contact info. So I go to NCSA to look for contact info, find a phone number or an email, something like that. Social media is good ways too now that you can start to contact people. But getting your contact info out somewhere, I think, is important for you to do as a junior.
Awesome. Great advice. Anyone else on that topic? Cool. We'll move on to kind of our next thing on the agenda. What are really some things that you coaches look for in players? Whether it be scores, do you look at kind of maybe a multi-sport athlete? And do you take any consideration into that? I know the baseball, softball season in Iowa competes heavily with, I know our stuff at the beginning of the season. So how do you guys maybe take that into account as well? Coach North?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think multi-sport athletes are phenomenal. I think once you get into a college golf program, it's going to provide you the structure to thrive. You go from spending, if you're a spring golfer, you get 2 weeks of practice before you're in competition. It's crazy. So now you get to look at it all year round, and I really feel like you get to grow and thrive. So being a multi-sport athlete's huge. Now, with that being said, if golf's your passion and you want to jump in both feet, go for it. But I think being a multi-sport athlete is huge. Hand-eye coordination's huge. And then academics is a big piece of that too for me. I think, especially as 2-year schools, looking to transfer onto a 4-year school after here, there's more academic money than there is athletic money. I think probably everybody would shake their heads at that one.
Tabitha, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I'd kind of echo what Doug said. Academics are a big one for Division III athletics. D3, we don't have academic or athletic scholarship. We only have academic scholarships. So a lot of the times academics matter a lot. So for me, and when I'm looking at recruits, I want to find recruits that really love Central and what it's all about. And then golf is an extra added bonus that they get to do and enjoy with their team. So I like looking at scores, and ideally as a coach, you'd love to have that perfect player that's going to come in and be your top player, but it's not always the case. So more so I'm looking for kind of character traits of, I want a player who wants to get better and is willing to put in the work to do it. And I want a player who's going to be a really good teammate. Because at this level and collegiately, having a strong team that's going to push you to get better and achieve your goals makes you a better player and makes our team better versus just trying to go out there and do it on your own, like in the professional world. So I think for me, those are the two that I'm looking at a lot. I still look at scores. I want to see if you're playing in the summer, how committed you are, kind of like what Mike said, and what your social media looks like. But at the end of the day, if you want to play college golf and you're going to be a good teammate and work hard, I think you can fit into our program.
Coach Leah, take it away.
Okay. Well, definitely echo everything the other coaches said. I do quite a bit of international recruiting. So for me, that GPA is pretty essential to be able to, oh, see, there's the dog. I wasn't fibbing. The GPA is pretty essential to being able to package a nice academic scholarship with, hello, Remy, with athletic aid. So I think that's a big key for me. And that's kind of the gatekeeping. If they don't have a 3.0 or over, I'm probably going to pass, because they're going to find that, it's pretty expensive to come over and be with us. So in addition to teammate and work ethic and all those things, if they can manage their studies, that's a pretty big deal. We miss a lot of school. So.
Completely understand all that. Back on that question. So kind of not a completely random question that I came up with, but just something that I was interested in, and maybe some other are interested in. But is it common for any of you to hold tryouts, offer kind of walk-on positions in any of your programs? And is that feasible at any point? Joe, Canny, if you want to chime in here.
Oh, our PGMers do have a fall tryout every year for walk-on spots or potential scholarships on the Division I team. So every fall, third week of school, we have tryouts for the team.
Awesome.
We don't have tryouts, but that's because we don't cut like at our level. So if like a person really says that they want to be a part of the team, and I know that coming in, then they can be a part of the team. So we don't hold tryouts. We don't cut players.
Cool. Leah?
Yes. Yes, we do have tryouts, but I have to say it's not just an every year thing. It's Western wants us to offer that opportunity. So if we have a student express an interest, typically, we give them a few rounds and kind of see what they can come up with. And then, you've got that period where you can invite them to be on the roster or not. So I've had both genders try out, have not had anybody very successful in that endeavor, but we offer that opportunity and we set a pretty fair target score and we go from there. So, and that's more of a school thing than my policy, I would say. So.
Gotcha. Well, we do have one question from our chat coming from Kale. Is interesting to me as well. What kind of scores do you expect to be shooting at each specific or respective level that we have in the call? Coach Stith?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take it for Division I and try to answer that question the best that I can. It is something that it's a great question. It comes up all the time. I think of it more in terms of just results, right? Because those of us that play golf, that understand golf, recognize that not all scores are created equal. I mean, the type of golf course that you're playing, the conditions that you're playing in, all those different things matter. One thing that I pay attention to on Junior Golf Scoreboard, which is a national ranking service, if for those of you that aren't familiar with that, but there's a metric on there called scoring differential. And essentially what that is your average score relative to the course rating. So if you're playing a golf course that is par 72 and the course rating is 74 and you shoot 72, your scoring differential is minus 2. So you can go ahead and if your son or daughter has played in any Iowa PGA events or anything outside the state of Iowa, if you're not familiar with the junior golf scoreboard, you can go on there and kind of see what their differential is, gives you an idea of what their scoring average is. But one thing that I like to see from players is just seeing a trend, maybe from their freshman year through their junior year when we're contacting them, of seeing their scores improve, because the best player at 16 is oftentimes not the best player at 18, and oftentimes not the best player at 20. So we have to be able to kind of project out to kind of see how that player is trending, and try to guess, what type of college player they might be based on, the strengths of their game. So the scoring average, yes, it matters, but seeing a trend in the right direction is also equally important as well. Other things along those same lines with results that I like to see kids that win. So I like people that can win golf tournaments, and I like evaluating scores over the course of a tournament. So if someone is playing a 3-day event at the same golf course, I like to see scores that improve over time, right? If you're playing the same golf course 3 days in a row, all things being equal, those scores should be moving in the right direction as you get more familiar with the golf course. What clubs you're hitting off the tees, how fast the greens are. I like to see scores that improve, or at least are staying relatively similar throughout the course of an event. So for us, I would say most of the players that we recruit, their scoring differentials are negative. I've got two 2023s committed, one from the state of Iowa, one outside from the state of Iowa, and their scoring differentials are somewhere between -3 and -4, just to kind of put things into context for maybe some people on the call that aren't familiar with that particular statistic.
Awesome. Chris Shank, you have your hand up next.
Yeah, just for Mount Mercy, and I don't know if it's for most NAIA schools, but generally sub 100, I don't like to have kids out on the golf course. It just, for pace of play reasons, especially if we're in larger tournaments and men and women are both competing, it just kind of takes the fun out of the game a little bit there. We don't have a roster limit size, so I take anybody who, our best player right now shoots 75, all the way up to 95, but generally speaking, sub 100, we'll be on the golf course. Anything above that, and it's probably, you need to be more on the range and more in the short game area. But I don't know if that, like I said, if that's for every NAIA school, but just for Mount Mercy.
Awesome. Great input. Coach Lewis, if you wanted to give some input on the Division II level.
Yeah, I coach men's and women's golf at Upper Iowa, so a little bit different on regards to scoring average. I'd say 85 or under women's, mid 70s and under for men, or boys playing junior golf from the tees that you're playing. I also like to see juniors and seniors that have played in some men's amateur events, whether that be the Iowa Amateur, or anything that has some older men in it, and college players, and see how they compete against those players. So it's nice to play in Iowa PGA junior stuff, but it's also nice to expand your horizons to some other bigger events and see how you do, because it can be uncomfortable to compete against a 40 or 50-year-old guy that has played the Carol Am for the last 30 years and can really get it done. So that was one of my most enjoyable as a junior golfer, is playing in Northwest Am and Carol Am Fort Dodge against Steve up there from Drake. But that's why we're such good friends, and traveling around with Tyler and Tank. So just expand your horizons. Don't get stuck kind of in the same rut of just playing every junior tournament that sign up for some stuff that might make you uncomfortable, but communicate that with your coach and go from there.
Awesome. Great input. Steve, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I kind of go along with both Tyler and Mike. Like, being able to see a kid compete, right? It isn't necessarily a score. Can they compete? Is it that, they've had a bad hole and what do they do next? How are they wanting to for everyone to see them? And I think that's really important. The other is to kind of like what Mike just said, expand your horizon a little bit. For me, if playing in the IGA stuff or Iowa PGA stuff, I think that's big, but you need to be able to also step out. Can you go play in a hurricane event? Do you play in an AJGA event? Are you willing to go do some other things? And I think that's very beneficial. But the biggest one is probably competing.
Awesome. Thank you for your input. Joe, if you want to take it away, your hand up.
Yeah, I think kind of similar to Mount Mercy, just touching briefly on Division III level. We see a little bit of everything, right? There are some really, really good players, both on the ladies and the men's side. And there's some players that have only played for a couple of years that need to put a lot of time in. Specifically speaking, you get to the national level, and I think the guys that are medalists for those tournaments, I mean, you're not shooting in the 60s for 4 rounds, you're not winning. So the talent's definitely there, but then you also get players that, specifically speaking, like on our women's side, I had a freshman that her first year she was averaging 105, and this past fall she averaged 85. So over a course of a period, you can obviously get way better over 2 or 3 years if you really dedicate yourself to it. And that's at any level, obviously, but obviously that's one of the things in the Division III model, just as far as kind of just development piece thing, as far as that goes. But yeah, I think there's definitely a wide variety as far as Division III goes, but there's a lot of talent at the same time.
Awesome. Coach Tank, you have your hand up.
Yeah, one thing I think I could add, just one common question I think that gets asked, that's kind of been asked tonight, is just, how do I get noticed? What tournaments should I play? Which I think the group tonight's done a really nice job of going through those different avenues and events that you can play. I think one thing that often gets overlooked is coaching. And so I think the best thing that you can do as a junior is find somebody that can help you, whether they're a mentor, maybe it's an older player, your PGA professional, somebody. I think that's just so important if you want to get better, is to have help. And hopefully you can find somebody that you can develop a relationship with over a long period of time. And I think often in the summer, sometimes I see a lot of players play so many events that they sort of lose touch with getting better and checking in with their coach or teacher. So I guess that would be something that I would suggest for everybody that's out there listening tonight, is just think about that as you're making your schedules. You want to play every event you possibly can, but don't lose sight of touching base with a coach, teacher, working on your game, and having some time in between some of these summer events to make sure that you get some good practice in.
Awesome, great advice. As far as just kind of general topics, that's all that I had prepared. If anybody else wants to chime in with just some other advice that they can think of off the top of their head, more than welcome to. Otherwise, we'll take some more questions from the chat as well. Tabitha?
I just saw a question that said, any advice on how to handle failure, improve mental toughness in a golf round? And I would say the biggest thing of just like you're going to go and practice your swing at the driving range, you have to practice you have to practice the mental side of golf as well. So if you're practicing and you're at the driving range and you're just rifling drives one after another, and you're not focusing on your pre-shot routine, you're just going through the motions, and you're not trying to get better each and every swing, when you go to the course and you actually go through that routine, it's going to be different. It's going to be kind of foreign, and you're not going to know when you're in a tough moment how to get past that. So I would say all the time you're practicing to gain confidence, practicing with a purpose, and trying to get better every day. Otherwise, why would you be out there to go practice? So I think that's the biggest thing of you have to practice mental toughness in order to have it in the round. And it's not a cure. We can't give you a pill that's just going to make you think about it and it's going to get better. It takes time putting yourself in situations where you have pressure. Like people say, oh, a putt to win the Masters. Trying to come up and be creative on how to get better at those moments is really big, I think.
Great advice. Go ahead, Mike.
I think to go right along with Tabitha's answer there's another question in regards to exercises in the winter. There's 3 areas of preparation that we believe in: technical, mental, and physical. And you need to hit on all 3 of those in certain times or certain stretches of time. There's seasons of time that you're not playing much golf and you can really work on your physical. There's times where you're really, really playing a lot of golf and it's a little bit tougher to work in the physical part of it. There's also a technical part that Andrew Tank touched on. So if you're hitting all 3 of those, you're bound to get a little bit better, and just keep on stacking the days on top of each other and getting better.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Well, I don't see anything else rolling in from the chat. So coaches and players, I'd like to thank you all for attending tonight. This has been an awesome event. We look forward to continuing it in the future as long as we get the participation this great snow day provided us tonight. Players, if you have any other questions, you can always feel free to contact me. Me, Tess, or Blake. Our contact informations are all across the website in Blue Golf. An in-person college golf event is currently in the works for later this year, and we'll release some more information about that said event in the future once we get more nailed down. So thank you all for your participation tonight.
Thank you, Jacob. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Good job, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.